It's always good to get value, but sometimes we search personal value. We plant our flags in some players and say that we are not leaving our fantasy drafts without this guy, essentially holding ourselves hostage. Who is it for you, right?
Well, I'm going to say J.J. McCarthy. I've noticed, too, because I get Justin Jefferson in a ton of drafts. Been very fortunate to be drafting at the top of a lot of boards. And every time I try to have J.J. McCarthy. Now, he's not always the starter that I'm going to roll with, but I do believe that he's going to step up this season for the Minnesota Vikings. We've seen that any quarterback with talent who has stepped into a system that's coming from the Mike Shanahan coaching tree, and this includes Kyle and KOC and McVay and all those guys, that the quarterbacks play pretty well, especially the ones who have first-round talent like J.J. McCarthy. So I'm going to make sure that I have him on my roster in case he is a breakout player, in case he has that kind of season like Sam Darnold had last year. I'm making sure he's on my team.
I do think for McCarthy, the risk, the reward, I should say, outweighs the risk in drafting him where you got to take him. For me, I've been big on Jameson Williams this offseason. My gochujang spicy level take, I don't know if it's spicy enough, but I think he's going to lead the Lions in receiving yards this year. Maybe not receptions. I still think that's Amon-Ra. But I do think the way they use him, the fact that he had over 11 air yards per target, that was highest on the squad. He was second in yards after the catch. I know that new offensive coordinator John Morton, now taking over for Ben Johnson, really trying to expand the route tree, trying to expand the role of what they do with Williams. I still think this is going to be a very high-powered offense. They're going to throw the football a lot. So I think we're going to see Jameson Williams, who really kind of had a breakout season, his first 1,000-yard season last year. I think this is the year that he finally takes that big leap forward, and he's a guy that I'm really targeting hard in every draft.
Yeah, it would be great for John Morton and that Lions offense. I'm going to go to a guy that we're not targeting high in the drafts. I just wind up with a whole lot of Kevontae Turpin, and here's why. Because he is available late in the drafts, and the targets have gone up every single season. I think he's rounding into a spot where the Cowboys know how they would like to utilize him in an offense that I believe will be more open with George Pickens involved in it. And so, yeah, an undrafted player that's there that's going to get, to, in my estimation, between 60 and 70 targets in an offense that I think will be better, as you mentioned, right? Like Dak Prescott is a fantasy viable quarterback every single 100%. Season when he's actually playing. I think you get a lot of value with Kevontae Turpin. There's just
nothing wrong.
There's opportunity there.
I love it.
Yeah,
I'll take your swings. I'm here for it.
That's what we're all about. Taking swings, getting opportunities, and occasionally you hit a home run. Sometimes you have some extensive misses.
And you're Taylor Ward at that point. But listen, let's talk about some players we're out on.
Yeah,
I'm actually going to take a whole side.
Yeah.
I'm going to get you there. Don't worry. Free season. I got you. Saints offensive players. I've noticed I don't draft any of them, and they drop. Alvin Kamara drops. Chris Olave drops, and I'm like, I just can't do it. Now, there's just too much unknown. Would it surprise me if the Saints go out in week 1 and actually beat the Arizona Cardinals? No, because the NFL is goofy that way. Like, whenever we, disregard a team, they end up winning in week 1. We saw it last year when the Bengals walked into that trap. So I'm not going to be totally foolish, but I don't know. I just take all the Saints off my board. I just don't want. I just need to see more evidence. I hope the best for Kellen Moore, and I hope the best for the Saints, but I just can't do it.
I'm with you on that. I'm just not interested in drafting any Saints guys. Another guy that I'm not really interested in, which I have been in the past, is David Montgomery. So I'm staying in Detroit. I love Jameson Williams. Not so big on David Montgomery this year. What's interesting to me is last year I was still in because I still thought he was going to get a good amount of the opportunities there in that backfield. We saw the takeover happening from Jahmyr Gibbs pretty much from week 1, and obviously it went next level when Montgomery got hurt at the end of the season. What's weird about it is that right now, Montgomery's actually going a couple of spots higher in ADP than he was this time last year. This is the year it feels like the Lions are pushing all their chips in on Jahmyr Gibbs. Not that Montgomery completely goes away, but I just don't think he's going to give you the return that you want at the end of the 5th round or so where he's currently going right now.
Yeah, round value has a lot to do with it for David Montgomery. I echo those sentiments, Marcus. I, much like Adam Rank, am going to take an entire offense, and that's the 2025 Pittsburgh Steelers. There's a lot of questions this fantasy football season. Rank mentioned the Saints. At least we know that between Tyler Shuck and Spencer Rattler, there's a young quarterback. They're going to try to make some plays. What does it look like And as much as I love DK Metcalf and Jonnu Smith last season, there hasn't been a wide receiver in the top 30 in fantasy football in Arthur Smith's offense in the last 4 seasons. Yeah. There's a lot to try to figure out. We haven't seen Aaron Rodgers in the preseason. Not that we need to, but there's just other spots.
I sort of need to.
Where we're a little bit more confident than in Arthur Smith and Aaron Rodgers and their union.